Hello, I'm Ali Sadness, and today I will talk about writer's dreams because I'm a writer and I have dreams like everybody else. so, um, you know, every artist have their dream, like musicians dream about Grammys and actors dream about Oscars. So, what do writers dream about? Well, I think that's based on my own dreams. I think that's the Nobel Prize for literature, but I think another thing that writers can dream about, and I'm an example. I think every writer wishes to have a film or series based on their books, and when it's poetry, I think every poet dreams about having music and songs based on the poetry. So this is what my dreams look like. I mean, I like to wish, and I wish I won a Nobel Prize in literature one day, but there are also many other prizes which I think will be amazing to get. But this one, Nobel, is absolutely the most, I think, meaningful. And if I ever get it, maybe when I'm 70 years old, I think it will be just priceless, because that's the most important prize. And I think it would mean that I've spent my life doing something important, and I've done something, um, writing my books. So this is one thing, and another is films and series and music based on my books. And I think Laura's diary, My Awesome Life, is the best example of what it could be on screen. I mean, this is this kind of book that I think it will be amazing to see, in such a different realization, and I will be happy whatever it will be. And even if the writer of the script decided to change the end of my book, I think I will be still happy if it was just Shakespearean. And if you already know my novel, I'm sure you noticed that there are so many songs in the ending, and the same thing with my poetry book. There are also songs, because I'm a poet, and sometimes I have ideas for poetry which come to me also with the melody. So I just call those poetry pieces songs, because it's not just words. I also have an idea for these works, and it's not just the melody, but sometimes I can quite see what kind of instruments there could be, how it could sound like in so many ways. So it would be amazing to see it in such a musical way one day. So we see. I've already heard one song, Revolution, and it would be nice to see all my songs this way one day. And so this is one part of this video, and now another, which is 1 year anniversary of my debut poetry book. I mean, when this video comes out, it will be 1 year anniversary of the release. And 1 year is something that I think it's worth to be celebrated. So I've decided to create such a that maybe not limited, but just another format and version of my poetry book, because the first idea of the poetry book of the love, pain and other addictions, it was 2017. So the very first poetry book is what I always thought as one book, one poetry book, one separate volume. And that's why I'd like to this time celebrate the release of my debut poetry book this way, and release it as two separate books. And the second volume, Student Notes, Open Eyes, will be again another separate book, because I've published it last year as one, made of 3 volumes, but I've always imagined these 2 books as 2 separate bodies, poetical bodies. So that's why I will release it in such a new form, and it will be a pocket version, I think, and there will be another alternative cover. So when this video comes out, you will get the released new version in the description. So if you'd like to get it, it will be available on Amazon and on my official website. So this is it. I hope you will check out my poetry and my novel. And well, if you have any other dreams, or you think that there's something else that a writer can dream about, I will be happy to hear it. So feel free to comment. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much for watching. You can like, subscribe, comment, and like. Okay, so that's it. Bye.